Jiahwech, and welcome back. First of all, I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to everyone who enjoyed the last video and left such positive comments. I didn't expect nearly this sort of reception. I thought maybe I'd interest some Golden Age Minecrafters, and if I was lucky, the attention of one of the YouTubers I mentioned. But it made my entire weekend to see how well received the concept was, down to what I thought might be alienating decisions, like overly detailed histories or long-winded technical explainers. As we go, I'll divulge more of my own history, but suffice it to say when I first found out you could start in the first version, not just InfDev March 27th, the perfectionist in me thought back to all of the what-ifs I'd had throughout my years of Minecraft, and knew that if I was going to do this project justice, I'd need folks to share it with for the motivation to continue. So thanks for the eyes on my work. I can also now justify the hundreds of hours of research and planning that went into this, which, trust me, I will share everything in due time, especially for the folks trying at home. I'm just playing my cards close to my chest for now, as I'm proud of some of my secret plans. Now, onto the episode. When we had left off, we'd completed a fair bit of the city of Montpellier. Though, with this update, we've gained some friends, so we ought to quickly sort out some urban planning and finalize a couple more infrastructure projects before they revolt. Though, while I build in the background, I'll take this opportunity to clarify some things, and answer some frequently asked questions from the comments. First, despite that one comment, I am not a registered nurse at Forest General Hospital. And I know that seems defensive, and precisely what a Forest General Hospital registered nurse would want you to think, but you're just gonna have to trust me. I realize not everyone is familiar with the pre-release eras of Minecraft, and they might find the lack of context frustrating. So let's do a brief overview of the 6 eras, which we'll expand on as they come around. First is Pre-Classic, which lasted less than a week. These are the first originally unreleased prototype versions, one of which we just played. They provide a very basic foundation with things like finite levels, 6 different blocks plus air, breaking and placing, mobs, and the first terrain generation. Of 6 versions, 4 are playable. Second comes Classic, running the next half year. These are the first publicly released versions of Minecraft. At the time, this first era was called Alpha, hence the A in many of the version names. However, it was retroactively named Classic in June of 2010. Since a proper creative mode wouldn't be added until Beta 1.8, players continued to use these versions for larger projects for years to come. And for many, it was their first foray into the game, with a free-to-play browser version existing for many years until the Java applet broke. Though, for Minecraft's 10-year anniversary, a version of Classic 23A01 was rewritten in JavaScript, and can be played for free at classicminecraft.net. This era is notable for the addition of various blocks, as well as branches for the first tests of multiplayer and survival. As such, they're where we will first see the hotbar, inventory, health, hostile mobs, finite blocks, and stuff like that. By my count of around 85 versions, 26 are playable. Third comes InDev, lasting the next 2 months. Short for In Development, this era inherited many of the survival test features, and honed them into the Minecraft formula we know today. Mining, crafting, smelting, and farming all got their start here. This is also the era of configurable map size, shape, type, and theme. Think lava oceans, those distinct floating island undersides, and the overcast woods. None of these versions are available amongst the historical versions of the official launcher, but thanks to groups like the Omni Archive, many of their jars have been found over the years, and you can easily play them through platforms like Betacraft. Of around 76 versions, 23 are playable. Fourth comes InfDev. A play on the name InDev, it's short for Infinite Development, which was the main innovation of this era. Some further split InfDev into 3 phases: re-implementing InDev features into infinite terrain, level format and terrain experimentation, and lastly, a few new features as the game transitioned into Alpha. The first 2 Secret Friday updates, which would become a staple of Alpha Minecraft, were also at the end of this release cycle. Of around 32 versions, 27 are playable. Fifth comes Alpha, lasting the next half year. At this point, Notch is working full-time on the game, so this era is marked by rapid development. Bug fixes, tweaks, and small changes throughout the week, with more substantial changes in those Secret Friday updates. That is, up until the revolutionary Halloween update, which added amongst other things, biomes in the Nether. With Minecraft surging in popularity at this point, Other developers would start to work alongside Notch later in this era. This is also notably when the Turing-complete wiring system of Redstone was added. Of around 54 versions, 46 are playable. And lastly for this syllabus, and this will be on the test, beta, lasting almost an entire year. This era polished and re-implemented features, like survival multiplayer and creative mode. By January of 2011, Minecraft had also reached over 1 million copies sold, and made a huge splash in the early 2010 zeitgeist. Throughout the rest of the year, various features were added like beds, maps, and the most controversial feature Minecraft has perhaps ever known, second only to the combat update, wolves. All 29 versions are playable, and past this point there are barely if any missing versions. Next, on to some questions. Will this series always be in creative? No, as we just learned, Minecraft's early development has only one working game mode at a time. From pre-classic and classic's flightless creative mode, with a brief survival test, to an almost complete switch to survival in early in-dev through to beta 1.8, where creative was added back. So, barring versions with what is known as Be Creative mode, where a debug feature to toggle game modes was left in by accident, will at that point be a survival series. Which leads to an interesting discussion about legitimacy. In a series of exploiting bugs, patching together chunks, and breaking the game in amusing ways, how do we maintain the backbone of Minecraft survival? Efforts and the rewards. That's where self-imposed rules come in, and I'm open to suggestions. What I know so far is that we will do the bare minimum quote-unquote cheating, with our North Star always being what's most interesting or entertaining. If it's to collect an unobtainable, explore bugs, and discontinued features, or to fix our save, we will abuse any dupes, exploits, and tools at our disposal, and I'll always mention it. For example, I wanted a bird's eye view for the video last episode, so I modded Flight into pre-classic. But I would never build with it, or try parkour with it. I mean, I frustratingly fell countless times, as was meant for this version. I even played in a backup. While I'm willing to grow out of my video making perfectionism, legitimacy is paramount. I'm here to enjoy the journey with the rest of you, and whether in sandbox games or life in general, cheating for short-term gains ruins long-term enjoyment. How long between updates and videos? It'll come as no surprise that this is going to be variable, as I try to balance progress with enjoying the journey. I can't spend months in every version like I did the first, but there's certainly other versions worth pausing in. It seems a bit disingenuous to the Forever World concept to rush through something like this update-wise. I don't have plans to catch up with modern Minecraft or anything, though it's only inevitable. And I get there's excitement for certain versions, and trust me, I'm very motivated to get to them too, but as each update passes, there's also something sad about that, as we can't really go back. Separately, I imagine my production will speed up over time, and the scope of an individual video will become smaller, covering singular features or just existing in a given version, as opposed to summarizing an entire version. But yeah, I don't know, I don't want to rush basically. How are you planning to update and convert worlds? It'll make more sense eventually, but as I said, we can thank Zelinator Elvinox for his conversion guide. That'll cover us up until InfDev, and I'll mention any other steps I take or pitfalls I encounter as they happen. Also, since it wasn't clear by the Zelinator or Graphene Polyworlds I flashed on screen, the quote, one world of the title is the eventual InfDev world. Mont Bay is just one small chunk of a much larger plan. We're going to have a separate world for every new terrain generator in pre-classic, classic, and InDev, and then we'll also collect some unique InDev map types. Will you play recreations, snapshots, pre-releases, or April Fool's updates? As for modded recreations of missing versions, probably not, though this is an interpretive playstyle, so feel free to yourselves. I will use saving mods for some versions that didn't originally allow it, so this will be a vanilla plus polyworld. This is, for example, how we're going to get the InfDev brick pyramids. As for the rest, if they're interesting and don't break the save, and if they do, maybe a backup or a separate world if there's enough interest. Again, I'm basing what we're doing on entertainment and interest. Will there be world downloads? Yeah, I don't see why not, and for now the files are so small I just added them to the repo. It's flattering that folks want even this world. And then, what about resources or a Discord? I'm still figuring out the best way to provide sources, code, and any other files. Currently there's the GitHub in the description, but I'm open to suggestions. Otherwise, I'd like to thank the streamer, creator, Jusichka for helping me out with the Discord. Feel free to come discuss ideas for the series, and especially if you're planning to embark on your own, let's share progress. Oh, this one looks like they're already trapped in a corner. Alright, well they got out, but I can still just mine them down here. And let me fix all these holes. And since they randomly jump, you can actually place blocks in them and they'll find their way out. But alright. Here we have the main feature of this update, the first mob added to Minecraft. It was inspired by a
Cave
prototype
game?
for an early... Oh, yeah, of course. The first mob added to Cave Game. It was inspired... Wait, you can talk?
Yeah.
Wow, really busy that Wednesday. Well, hello. I was just describing your addition to the game. Do you want to do this interview style? I have a theater for occasions just like this.
Could I have a house? If so, then yes.
Oh, of course you'll be compensated for your time. Yeah, let's head over. Welcome. This is Chunks at Night, and I'm your host, 3KO. Today on the show, we have an amazing guest. She's one of the first mobs added. First question, what should we be calling you guys?
Mobs. We're called mobs.
Oh, that's creative. I'm curious though, it seems in the game's code you guys are referred to as zombies. Do you care to comment on that?
Excuse them. Most of us mobs are sensitive to that name. We choose to not be defined by our half-finished code. Our creator has voiced hopes for us greater than our current station.
My apologies, that's totally understandable. It's just, the way you guys came in here, I could kind of see zombie horde, am I right? Hey, maybe that's why you guys are called mobs.
Wow, that is offensive. The term dates back to 1978 with the game Multi-User Dungeon. It's for mobiles, dangling from the ceiling, controlled but unpredictable, like our random movements, which, by the way, are out of our control. But no. Go ahead. A mob of mobs. I can hear it now. Like gauze migrating away from the Huns, we caused your Roman Empire to collapse. You're gonna pin the world change on us next episode, aren't you?
Look, I hear you, and that's really interesting. But you gotta admit though, fashion-wise, it's goth. A little on the nose. But for what it's worth, it's a bit overplayed to say the goths were responsible for the fall of the Western Roman Empire. There's a multitude of factors that all led to
on a roll? I did this interview for housing, not to have my people judged or my looks to be criticized.
Come on, these are jokes. Have some levity. It's a late show. Look, how about this? Not just a house, any house, okay? Your choice.
Well, it's easy to joke from a place of privilege. Think what it's like to be a half-implemented mob. Disgraced by our creator, our very movements on this plane are entirely random, robbing us of even the convenient lie that deterministic movements beyond our control could at least be in service of a greater purpose. We're left to grapple with the absurdity of our existence as we stochastically dance towards demise. Off the edge of the known, the short time we spend on this 200-some block rock will become a rounding error compared to the near infinite void beyond. In an existence marked by falling, you don't suppose we could step away like Blue Crab. Away from keyboard, yet another luxury only afforded to the elite class of player. But are we not children of the same entity class? Worse yet, if we had the ability to affect the natural world like you, we could save ourselves. But we weren't even spared this dignity. We can't place or break blocks. We are wholly at your whims for shelter, but you'd shirk that responsibility.
Wow. Consider me educated. I understand your plight. That is a surprisingly poetic situation, and one I don't mean to make light of. I'm taking that responsibility seriously. I built you guys this town. I built this entertainment district. Is that why you're here? For stability? For housing?
Look, we're simply here to see chunk borders stratify extinct terrain, farms fossilize in obsolescence, and carefully curate relics of bygone eras.
Really? You're messing with me.
Mm-hmm. A surprisingly poetic situation.
Fine, I walked into that. Okay, can we get serious answers again? I got a lot of questions to go through. Like, how many of you psychos even are there?
Mob? Psycho? 100.
Alright, there you have it, folks. What a great interview. Anyways, in this version, Notch added the first mods.
Are you gonna let me free?
No, you're good. I got it from here. They're extended from the...
You can't keep me here, right? When you reconnect, my position will be reset.
Oh, is that so? Yeah, I was feeling a blue crab. Thinking a few million blocks in the void. You know, just a week or two.
You
keeping
can't
the
do
game
that.
open.
Think of the environment.
Oh, I love rolling coal.
I'll take the aqueduct.
No, you're not getting the aqueduct.
Who said
That's my
any
pride and joy.
house?
That's not even a house. What do you... You're free. Get out of here.
Entitled player. I hope YouTube's compression makes all the cobblestone unwatchable again. Oh, and wiggle your mouse again. They all loved that.
Well, there you have it, folks. As she said, these mobs are not saved in the level.dat. When the world
my
is
God.
generated...
I fell. Okay, I'm good. I'm good, chat.
When the world is generated or loaded, 100 spawn at random positions across the map. In time, their random flailing will send them all over the edge of the world. That is, unless you have a quarry big enough to hold them. Which, you know, I have a strange feeling a quarry full of these Zombie Town-inspired mobs threaten Alexandria for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they won't pay their late fees or something. Speaking of Zombie Town, a bit more on that. In the same Origins of Minecraft blog post from last episode, Notch had also talked about making his own 3D texture mapper from scratch in pure Java. He was working on a GTA Chinatown Wars style zombie game, and linked some test footage uploaded to his YouTube. This was itself vaguely a spiritual successor to another game of his, Left 4K Dead, which won him the 2009 Java 4K competition. An informal contest of Java game programmers testing their abilities, entries are limited to 4 kilobytes, or just 4,096 bytes. Marcus had already submitted plenty of games to the competition between 2005 and 2009, this being his second win and third podium finish. I managed to compile and run the game, though as you can imagine, with 4 kilobytes of code, it's pretty simple. You run around shooting zombies while searching for red rooms like it's the Haunting of Hill House. There's 2 power-ups on each level, yellow to restore clips and red to restore health. Further levels increase zombie health and point values, but that's pretty much it. He'd credit the same project in a May 14th blog post titled Exhausted but Happy, which neatly summarizes the progress we've seen over the last 2 episodes. Though I'm more interested in the prior blog post. Within is a screenshot, and the text, a simple house and a very, very silly mob. The world it captures was built within an hour of the version's creation, which we know because the Omni Archive was given the file by Ellen Zetterstrand, better known as Easy, Notch's ex-wife. Over the years, she's provided many early Minecraft screenshots and some of the oldest game files. Why am I telling you this? Well, I did mention we collect cultural artifacts at the time, so I may have painstakingly copied block for block what, to my knowledge, is a one-to-one replica of that world, into the corner of mine, in what I call the Easy Villa, a beautiful property on the far outskirts of town. Alright, that'll be it for this version. Before the next episode, we're going to update again. Thanks again to Juicechika for her voice and the help on the Discord. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Take care.